Minister, last night my colleague Deputy John Curran actually sought clarification on how the subsection would be applied, that being 3A and subsection 4. And this section deals with the actual criteria, which we believe and have stated earlier this week was actually too limited, but were told that there was no way that it could be changed. However, it turns out that the subsection actually meant that tenants could actually be charged more than has been outlined by you since Tuesday of this week. And you've responded last night saying that this was a drafting error. You sought time and referral back to committee as recommended by my colleagues to committee stage to allow you to actually make the changes to this drafting error. I would like to believe you, Minister, and I have to believe you, and I do. But you can understand that it's genuinely, one could be forgiven in finding it hard to actually accept that it was just a drafting error. When you remember that this side of the House and all in it was given this bill late on Tuesday evening, you and your staff have been working on it for the last few weeks. As you know, it could be said that you have been inflexible from my perspective in relation to taking any amendments from Fianna Fáil on the criteria that you have set that we believe may be proven to be too restrictive. But we're prepared to wait. We're prepared to allow for the review that you have committed to taking place by June. But you had said it was not procedurally possible to move amendments on the rate or the restrictive criteria. But now, because of this drafting error, procedures have been changed. You said that you had had intensive talks with your own officials and those in the Department of Finance and those in the Department of Public Expenditure prior to producing the bill. You would also have had access to the Attorney General's office and to the Preliminary Draftsman's office. And you have to accept and you have to acknowledge that it is exceptionally hard not to believe that it was an intentional error, at the very least an earlier intention to charge tenants more. Because, as others said here last night as well, it's not just simply a typo. We're not talking about a comma or an apostrophe. It shows again, as others have said, and I acknowledge what they've said, that ramming through legislation over a 48 to 72-hour period is not best or safe practice. And some would argue that some in your party were too busy claiming victory rather than actually concentrating on how their rush legislation could be improved to allow more tenants avail of the rent certainty than having a limited bill to 2 cities and let all the other... Excuse me? Excuse me, I have something to say to you too, if you don't mind, in relation to your response to the committee stage that you rightfully asked that we take in order to discuss this and allow all members the opportunity to respond to some of the commentary that was made in dealing with the issues at hand. So no matter what noise the empty vessels to my right are making, there isn't rent certainty in the north either. There's no rent certainty in the north, and they are in Stormont, we're not. No rent certainty in the north. I suppose there's no water charges in the north either. I'd like to put on the record that I have no problem taking criticism from any side of the House when it's legitimate. But I won't take pontificating lectures from deputies in this House, particularly when they didn't even bother their Barney putting in a submission in relation to the rental strategy in the first place, and that's for Deputy Shortall's attention, who said I should be ashamed of myself and that my party should be ashamed, despite the fact that we entered into a process in a professional manner, in a manner that befits the vote that we got, in response to the Minister's recommendations for a public consultation in relation to rental strategy. And Deputy Shortall and her party, of which there are 2 leaders and 2 members, did not see it fit to make a submission at all but have the audacity to come in here and try and tell somebody they should be ashamed of themselves for participating and for getting 83% of their recommendations approved.